me and Deanna have been blessed with wonderful material things because of what I've done. But we tried to stay extremely grounded.
The suit was brought by the Mississippi Department of Human Services in May in an attempt to recover millions in misspent money. Favre also seemingly pushed to build an indoor practice facility to lure recruits like Deion Sanders' son Shador, and for funding for a pharmaceutical company he is an investor in.
For those of you who are devastated, time will heal.
New text messages show the pressure former NFL quarterback Brett Favre was putting on then Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant. Favre requested money for an indoor football practice facility.
So how should the leagues support and promote an anti-racism position without becoming political and alienating fans?
Favre's also an outspoken conservative, an ally of former President Donald Trump. There they are on the golf course together. Thumbs up. Now, Favre is currently embroiled in a controversy involving the use of federal welfare funds set aside for the state of Mississippi's most vulnerable residents, which were reportedly diverted to Favre and others.
Last year, middle of last year, my office, which includes 135 CPAs, investigators, and attorneys, we got a tip in that suggested that the director of the Department of Human Services was misdirecting money and potentially involved in an embezzlement scheme.
Things will get better. It shall pass.
NFL Hall of Famer Brett Favre is facing questions tonight of whether he knowingly took $5 million of state welfare money to build a new volleyball facility for his daughter's team 5 years ago at her university and his alma mater.
So I encourage you to stay positive, keep the faith, and believe that better days are ahead.
Brett Favre asked the head of a nonprofit handling welfare funds, quote, "If you were to pay me, is there any way that the media could find out where it came from and how much?"
There was a period, clearly, where powerful people were benefiting from TANF funds here in the state of Mississippi.
Huge update on the Brett Favre Mississippi welfare scandal. And it involves the powers that be in the state. Let's tell you about it. Some of the biggest names in this case, of course, are Brett Favre. We all know that. Ted DiBiase, the former wrestler under Vince McMahon. Auditor Shad White, who has been interviewed time and time again. But also a major player is her.
It is the one-year anniversary of the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. And our next guest, Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch, represented her state in the Dobbs versus Jackson case that overturned Roe. And she joins us now. Lynn, it's so great to have you on today.
Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch, who has inserted herself into the case because of, it appears, out of spite of Auditor Shad White. AJ Perez, who has done great work covering the case for Front Office Sports, noted in his column on February 5th an outside law firm was handling the welfare scandal case, not AG Fitch. It's the largest public corruption scandal in the state's history, but Fitch had been hands-off. This is where it gets really messy. When Fitch learned White was writing a book on the scandal, she pulled AG lawyers from defending Auditor White in his defamation case brought by Favre. White's own lawyers in his office are serving as counsel now. I know I said messy before, but Shad White is going to get extra spicy here. Via the Clarion Ledger, White was quoted as saying, "Fitch failed to sue Favre for everything he owes, and then sued to stop me from trying to get the money back too. Just let me do the job, even if you won't." That line comes after Fitch, a Republican, announced a lawsuit against White, fellow Republican, in an effort to try and block the auditor's effort to recover misspent welfare money from Favre. As noted by Perez, Fitch's lawsuit, filed in the Chancery Court in Hinds County, claims White doesn't have the authority to seek funds in this manner. More from Emily Waxter Pettis. Favre repaid $500,000 to the state in May of 2020, then another $600,000 in October 2021. However, per Auditor White, the Hall of Famer still owes $729,790 because interest caused growth in the original amount he owed. Fitch's office defended themselves, saying they never ruled out pursuing litigation to recoup misspent funds. Another great find from Perez was this. A couple more notes. Just days before Favre's name was first attached to the Mississippi welfare scandal through a report from White's office released in April 2020, Fitch, the AG, filmed a PSA with none other than Brett Favre. Fitch also picked an outside law firm to handle MDHS's civil case. Important to note, Fitch's office filed a suit in May 2022 against Favre and several other people on behalf of the State Department of Human Services. The suit said TANF, or Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, money was improperly spent, including on projects Favre supported, $5 million for the volleyball arena where his daughter Bray Lee once played, and $1.7 million toward development of a concussion treatment drug, which we have covered. Check it out on demand. Now, here is where the stars align and why both of these two, White and Fitch, want to have the upper hand. It appears that they will both be running for the governorship of the state of Mississippi. So if one can topple the other and really push them aside in this very public feud that is transpiring in front of the entire state of Mississippi, it is vital to get as many wins against their foe as possible. I know we like to say when we see that side of the aisle, let them fight, let them go at it, let them go at each other's necks. But in this case, it just feels dirty. It just feels like Auditor White, although I do believe that he may be going somewhat soft on Governor Bryant, who I believe put him in this position to be auditor, it really feels like Fitch may have screwed up, knows she's screwed up, and now wants to cover her tracks by going after the guy who is publishing a book which will have a ton of scrutiny of AG Fitch. It's essentially, yeah, I didn't do anything. You may be calling me out for not doing anything. So now I really need to get a win, and I am going to attack you and try to get that win. For the defamation cases with Brett Favre, the one against Shannon Sharp, dismissed. The one against Pat McAfee, dismissed. The one against White is ongoing. And I really do not see us having any other conclusion than what we had with the previous two football players.
Because I'm going to be working for you. I'm not going to have time to go play golf, and believe me.
No surprise, this is a flat-out lie.
The golfiest president in the history of the presidency has now played golf 247 times at massive taxpayer expense.
We're living in some times that's the craziest. They say these legislators are the laziest.
The Roots' Black Thought goes off on the state of politics in a Harvard Innovation Labs freestyle.
A leaker inside Trump's White House just revealed tons of new details about Trump's workday. Over 60% of Trump's day in these schedules consists of what's not generally considered work, open time where Trump watches TV or lounges around. The White House has famously dubbed this executive time. Critics say if you were to discount even part of the executive time, that would leave Trump literally treating the presidency as a part-time, 20-hour-a-week job. Bush's schedule showed a 10-hour-plus day in the Oval Office. Obama's showed 9 official hours plus a habit for late-night memos in the residence. Trump clocking in at a cool 6 hours a day in the Oval.
Dedicated religious figures have gone atheist. Each and everything must change. There's no escaping this.
No question.
Tonight, this Pennsylvania Republican caught in a sex scandal, Congressman Tim Murphy, effectively gave 2 weeks' notice. Congressman Murphy is known for his anti-abortion views. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette published text messages between him and his former mistress, making it clear that while he's against abortion, he wanted her to have one.
Fundraising has been difficult for the pro-life candidate after revelations he encouraged his ex-wife and a former mistress to get multiple abortions.
Look no further than the pro-life movement.
I'm on a block, post-apocalyptic smoke covers. coincidentally presented by the Koch brothers.
This is the mother of all wars we've got over the next 18 months. For the life or death of this country.
They are radical libertarians, basically. They oppose big government. They think that the free market does better when it's unregulated. And the family's been pretty much in kind of complete opposition to everything that's been done in America in terms of progressivism since the New Deal.
Rather fitting, Black Thought mentions the Koch brothers. After all, these libertarian billionaires set out a personal vendetta against unions, along with many other sectors of public life. In addition, Fred Koch once claimed black folks would engage in a vicious race war, echoing the words of white supremacists, including Birchers, who opposed desegregating public schools.
Waiting on change that been low, till the day after tomorrow I sit by the window in the police state like your man Michael Winslow. My kinfolk told me there's a brand new Jim Crow. I've been going to bed at 10, up at 5, hustle to the bus and ride to the job.
Thought hit so many notes in this one, from modern day civil rights abuses to the grind of the working class.
Joe Biden has put double the amount of people on food stamps since he's been in office. He's doubled the amount. I want you to think about that. Double the amount of people that's on food stamps. We can't, first of all, you can't afford it and our country can't afford it, but they continue want to give money out. People need to go back to work.
Blatant misinformation from a lying, corrupt former football coach and Alabama Senator, Tommy Tuberville.
As we turn to a shocking new report that estimates 35,000 people have been killed by law enforcement in the U.S. since the year 2000, and that the number of brown and black people killed by police may be more than double the amount widely reported. The DASA database project was founded by the late Roberto Rodriguez, also known as Dr. Sintley.
They shot my cousin, he died. It wasn't justified. I guess I see him if I make it to the other side. The same figure who came from Anguilla, ain't nothing different. I think I'm addicted to painkiller. I'm unpermitted to enter the village of Shangri-La. I'm depicted as being a killer that's dangerous, huh? Half dozen in one hand, 6 in the other. Yo, this is more than a suntan, it's living color. Black as oblivion, black as obsidian, black as the sky at midnight out to meridian. I am black as a portrait with Diddy, Tupac, and Biggie in. Black as the influence on the culture we living in. I survived the Chitlin circuit, vaudeville in, managed to inspire the Beatles and Bob Dylan them.
This is layered, but we'll provide an example or two. Bob Dylan, the legendary musician, sang of James Meredith, the first black man to enroll at the University of Mississippi. We'll do a clip on this story soon as well. Dylan would write and record the story of the civil rights struggle, asking in song, how many roads must a man walk down before they call him a man?
Would you have voted in favor or against the civil rights legislation of 1964? Yes, I would have voted against it.
Failed gubernatorial candidate and staunch conservative Larry Elder gets taken to task as well.
But did I miss the mark because I'm just as dark as John Henry Clark's inner thoughts at the time of the Harlem Renaissance? After which, rights activists deviated the flight path to black ratchetness, putting us back smack dab where night catches us. We just go along for the ride. Passengers, gluttons for punishment, masochists, still doing whatever master asks of us. Will this generation go down as the last of us? Will being young men while black was hazardous?
It feels almost sacrilegious for Elder to feel this way, as Thought outlines. Then he ends with this.
Into the proverbial master venger, all these pretenders suffer from symptoms of affluenza. I'm just thinking out loud about extinction agendas and plans. My grandmother definitely remembers. Listen, her suits were tailor-made. Sundays Mahalia played. Simple, familiar ways, like the way she knelt and played well. And Lord and Master, forgive us our trust. Pastors had us real afraid. I never listened, but I still obeyed. I got to see how gangsters played at such an early age. What my father was into sent them to his early grave. Then mom started chasing that bass like Willie Mays. My childhood was all of 40 nights and 40 days. Trouble was my ball and chain. Shorties would call me names. Humble beginnings, black thought is what that all became. My journey from a dirty hallway to the Hall of Fame. Music, my therapeutic way to deal with all this pain. I was headed for the drain, soaking before the rainwater came. In chaos, that's when the order came. I started doing what I'm supposed to do in life, trying to move out of the dark and closer to the light. They say when you get a chance to do it, overdo it right. Cause tomorrow isn't promised every time we say goodnight. Listen, dope shot, mug shot, gunshot, jump shot. Take your pick, but you only got one shot. Yeah. Advice from a school teacher to a young tot, applying a sticker to a Spider-Man lunchbox. When even role models tell us we're born to be felons, and we ain't getting into Harvard or Carnegie Mellon, and of these other people's blessings we gonna be jealous, it's not fair that that's all they can tell us. That's why I hustle hella hard. I don't celebrate a holiday. That could be the day a brother could have struck the lottery. I refuse to ever lose or throw my shot away, or chalk it up as just another one that got away. So I'm unapologetic, I'm on my calisthenics. If I have given it all I got, I cannot regret it. My final destination's different from where I was headed, cause I'ma shoot for the stars to get it. One shot.
If there are any stories we missed, if there are any that you would like to submit, get at me and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. DMs are open. Look forward to your submissions. And in order to support the network and keep the network going, we are doing a membership drive. If you can, please donate to us to keep us going at tyt.com/join. The Roots have been one of not only my favorite hip hop groups, but also have had a profound impact on me. Best show I ever saw was when they played at Coachella for about 2 hours on a side stage. That was incredible. And their lyrics have only gotten better over time. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, or maybe it's because it's a reflection of the times and the times are going backwards. If there are any other artists that you would like me to shadow and for me to outline in pieces like these, put it down in the comment section below. I'll see you there.
God has given the mandate, the outline for a biblical marriage, and that is for man and woman. If there are two men and they say that they love God, that's fine. They can do what they want, but they should not come and tell and dictate to Christians how they should live their life.
The LBC's James O'Brien is about to cook this homophobic caller and use his own logic against him.
But they are Christians.
No, what do I'm saying?
But you're dictating to those Christians how they should live their life.
No.
Yeah, you are.
The Bible is the authority and the rules.
God is the authority and the rules.
The church condones what they're doing. They're not sticking to the mandate.
But the church does condone it.
Yes. No. What? Do you not understand what I'm saying?
No, I haven't got a clue. I think that makes two of us. So the church does condone. The Archbishop of Canterbury and the Synod have just said that it's fine.
Right. Okay. So what I'm saying is,
the church does condone it.
No. He's not going with the biblical mandate, though, James.
But he's the Archbishop of Canterbury.
He is not the authority of God.
But he is. In the Anglican community, he's the head honcho. Well, I suppose technically it's King Charles.
He thinks he is, but he's not, because he's perverting the scriptures.
So you know better than he does?
No, I don't know. The scriptures knows.
Which scriptures?
This is what it is. The Bible.
Which bit?
From Genesis to Revelation, all is truth. God's revelation to mankind.
But that never says anything about homosexuality.
Are you being real? In the book of Leviticus, in the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about men laying with men.
But Leviticus also talks about burning a bull on the altar as a sacrifice because the odor would please the Lord.
Oh.
And it says you can sell your daughter into slavery, doesn't it, in Exodus?
Just so we're clear, being religious isn't the problem, but what is a problem is how religious folks like this caller hide their bigotry behind the shield of religion and selectively pick which parts of religious texts they want to use to support said bigotry.
Do you still think it's okay to sell your daughter into slavery?
No, not at all.
Well, why are you picking and choosing then?
No. It's about what God has set in order.
That's Exodus 21:7, mate. You know that as well as I do.
Yeah.
It is okay to sell your daughter into slavery. What would be a fair price, do you think, in this day and age?
No. James, what we've got to understand, I said, you've got to get things in its context.
I
now,
am. The context is the book of Exodus and the book of Leviticus, which you just cited as your justification for what I describe as homophobia. So I'm just wondering why you pick that bit and yet you ignore the other bit.
Again, James, you are taking things out of context.
No, I'm reading it out of the Bible.
We have to get back to God's ideal.
No, mate, what you have to do is tell me how I can tell which bits of the Old Testament you think we should... No, you can answer my questions. No,
yes, I'm going to.
No, I said no.
With an example.
No, you can't give me an example. You need to tell me which bits of Leviticus you choose to obey and which bits you don't.
As always, O'Brien is doing an excellent job of holding the caller to the fire and pressing him on the root of this entire debate, the selective interpretation of religious texts to justify attitudes that are antithetical to any of the positives of religion, exactly like how the evangelical Christian-dominated right wing operates in the States.
You told me to go back to Leviticus when you were trying to justify your homophobia. I've gone to Exodus. Do I have to kill Sangita Maiska for the sin of working on the Sabbath? Yes or no? It's a simple question.
No, you don't. So,
well, why not? Because the Bible tells me to. It's Leviticus 25:44. I may indeed possess slaves, provided they are purchased from neighbouring nations. So would that include Wales, or would I have to go all the way to France?
If that's what the scripture says, then that's so.
Okay, so slavery's a good thing. Slavery's allowed then, for you as a good Christian. Do you have any slaves?
No, I don't. I don't.
You're blaspheming.
Not at all.
Well, mate, you just are. You just like the bit that hurts the gays, but you're happy to ignore the rest of it. Why do you think that is?
Can I say to you,
No,
James,
you can answer my question. Why do you pick the bit out of all of these books that discriminates against homosexuals, but you ignore all of the rest of it? For the final time, why do you choose to obey the bit that harms gay people while ignoring the rest of it?
It doesn't harm them. They're harming themselves because they're violating
there it
the
is, but you're
of God.
definitely not homophobic.
There it is, indeed. And this isn't the only example of O'Brien calmly destroying religious bigots on his show.
If a consenting adult came to me as a pastor and explained that he or she had same-sex desires or feelings, whatever word or way you want to say it or whatever.
Yes.
And I can't see that how me praying for them to help them overcome that, or again, however you want to word that, is the same as doing the other sort of things that was mentioned.
Okay.
Then sort of out, like you say, you question.
Well, you're beginning on the premise that homosexuality is akin to an illness, which is part of
No, definitely not akin to an illness.
How hard would I have to pray to make you gay?
From my honest point of view, from my honest belief, I don't believe it's possible.
So how can you pray someone straight?
If they have come to me, so it's not something, for a start, it's not something I will go to them and say, you're wrong, I need to pray about this, let me pray for you.
Yeah.
If they've come to me...
But
like
neither are you going to say when they come to you, say, well, don't be silly, there's nothing to pray for. Just go, I hope you find someone to love. You're not. You're going to say, I'm going to help you fight your natural feelings.
No, I wouldn't say that. No, definitely not. I'm honest.
But that's what you'd be doing.
O'Brien is getting at the heart of what makes seemingly well-meaning people blind to their own hateful views. The pastor is operating from the position that he is helping someone by trying to pray the gay away, which entails that there is something wrong with gay people that needs to be and can be fixed by prayer.
But then you as a good citizen, never mind as a man of God, you should be telling them that they've got nothing to be ashamed of and that their feelings are natural and beautiful and God's will.
But again, obviously, it depends on the stance on the scriptures, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
On the scriptures of the.
Are we going to do this? You want to go there? You've created a culture in which they don't want to be gay. You preach that there's something wrong with it, and then you think you get a free pass on being a good guy when they come to you and ask for help in resisting their natural urges.
Yeah, because if you believe in the entirety of the Bible, the entire Bible.
Oh, okay. You believe in the entirety of the Bible.
Just like the first caller we saw, this pastor has just dug himself a massive hole.
Do you even believe this, or do you just need to pay the bills?
No, I don't get paid for being a pastor.
Good grief. So you do this for fun? Or power?
No, definitely
power.
Not.
Standing
definitely
in the community, right?
Sort of things you have
that's
to
what
go
that's what you get out of it. It's vanity that's being fed.
My original point wasn't about any of that anyway.
Your original point was that if someone comes to you and asks for help in not being gay, you're going to pray with them and punt the lie that something might come good at the end of it. And the idea that you can pray...
it was about the law.
Ah, Walter, mate,
it was about the law.
You're a disgrace.
And the law can't
You're a disgrace.
Prayer, certain prayers wrong and certain prayers.
If there's anything we missed, if there are any stories you would like to submit, get at me and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. DMs are open. I welcome your submissions. In addition, to keep us independent, to keep us going. Go to tyt.com/join. All of our content is free, so please do support us if you can.